Joy 99.7 FM.
Wow. Good evening to you. It's another Tuesday evening, and we are live on Joy 99.7 FM. This is Geek Squad with your girl Adobea Biritwum. Geek Squad is brought to you by MTN everywhere you go. We are still in the month of March, and it is Ghana month. And for us on Geek Squad, we are joining in the conversation talking about how we can still preserve our heritage, our traditions, and tonight having a conversation on our Ghanaian languages, how we can use technology to preserve and promote them. I still do remember how my grandma used to sit me down, ask me to read the Tree Bible for her, and interestingly, it is something that made me learn how to read the local language, and today it has really helped me. We'll be talking about how technology can be used to preserve our languages. I have my guests and we'll be getting into that conversation, but before we do that, we would share with you what has been happening in the tech space in the past week. So take a listen to the emerging tech trends. We will be back after that.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Emerging Tech Trends on Joy Geek Squad. My name is Denisia Poma Eji. In our headlines, ChatGPT adds interactive visuals for math and science learning. WhatsApp introduces parent-managed accounts for kids under 13. Also, Instagram tests clickable links in captions for paying creators. And finally, Apple announces AirPods Max 2 with upgraded audio chip. Let's settle for the details now. ChatGPT can now generate interactive visuals when explaining math and science concepts. Users can adjust variables in formulas and observe how changes impact graphs and results, making complex topics easier to understand. WhatsApp will now allow children under 13 to use the app through parent-managed accounts. These accounts restrict features to messaging and calls while giving parents control over contact and activity alerts. Instagram is testing a feature that would allow verified subscribers to add clickable links directly in their captions. The update is designed to help creators promote products, websites, or other content more easily. And finally, AirPods Max 2 has been unveiled by Apple with improved noise cancellation and the new H2 chip. The headphones aim to deliver better sound quality, stronger ANC performance, and improved efficiency. And that's it for this week's episode of Emerging Tech Trends on Joy Geek Squad. My name is Denisia Poma Eji. I will catch you same time next week.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Geek Squad with your girl Adobea Biritwum. Geek Squad is brought to you by MTN everywhere you go. We are in the month of March and we are joining in the conversations for Ghana month. Tonight on Geek Squad, our conversation is on how we can use technology to preserve and promote our Ghanaian languages or our local languages. And I have with me Albert Tetteh. He's the project director for Parables Animation Studios in Anansi Chrome Tune Festival. Albert, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Good evening to you too.
Good evening to everyone.
I have with me Samuel Boateng, the tech content creator for Interesting Digital Trends. Samuel, you're welcome.
Yeah, that guy is back.
Yes. I hope you're also doing well.
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Good. And I mean, in my introduction, I mentioned earlier how my grandmother used to, catch me, tell me, read the Tree Bible. I want us to talk just before we get into the conversation. Starting first with you, Albert. Yeah. How many local languages are you able to speak first? Then I'll go to those you're able to read and write.
So to speak, I can speak Gadangbe, which is the local Gadangbe.
Okay.
I can speak the Krobo.
Okay.
I can speak the Ga.
Okay. 3 already.
Yeah. Then I can speak Chi.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's 4.
Yeah. For Hausa, I can understand a bit. Yeah.
When it's spoken.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're counting about 6 already. How many of them are you able to read and write?
I'm able to read Ga, I'm able to read Dangbe, I'm able to read Krobo.
Okay.
I'm able to write all.
Oh, that's cool. Samuel.
I think I'm in the wrong space. Let me walk out first.
Why you not Ghanaian? Don't you have at least one? Maybe I should have started with you because he has raised the standard, right?
That's right.
Wow. I think I'm a foreigner by now. I can speak and write Fanti.
Okay.
It's been a while. I don't even remember most of the characters, but I was very good at it.
Okay.
I can speak Tree too.
Okay.
Apart from that, the rest is man-made, my own made language. Tree Chinese. So.
Interesting. For me, it's mainly Tree. Yeah. Like that saying that people say that maintain kind. I'm one of those people. Like I'm in Accra, but hardly understand Gam. So mainly Tree for me. At least I'm able to read. I'm able to write it. So I'm glad we are having this conversation. I mean, starting first with you, Samuel. Why is it even important for us to preserve the local languages in our digital world today?
That's a very tough question. Would you like to answer that first?
Okay. All right. So, language is a tool.
Yeah.
It's a tool for communication.
Yes.
And communication is just the process by which we pass on the messages we want to pass on to make meaning. So, language being the tool itself, it's either we having the verbal or non-verbal way of communication, and which is mainly when we talk about language, we forget sign language. Sign language is also a language, just that it's not a universal language.
Yeah, that's true.
And when we talk about that, why in this space we need to safeguard our languages on the digital platforms is because now we find ourselves in the social space where anytime we wake up, just as I mentioned last time, before we even say a prayer, we take our phones, we want to check the next messages and all. It means we are in an online social community where we interacting with each other, and we feel that it is a global space where we need to speak English as a universal or a universally accepted language on the platform where everyone can resonate with what we're communicating. But then we should also bear in mind that we have people of our own kind, and language is not just anything we speak, but it's a representation of who we are, our culture and our heritage. So if we're losing out on that online, it means we are losing out big time, and we have no representation online, because English is someone's language and it represents someone, and that's someone's culture. So we need to actually do our best to repackage this, which I know definitely we're going to go in. I don't want to jump the gun. We need to make sure that on the digital platforms where this is a social community, we fellowship day in, day out, and it's become a part of our lives, our lifestyle. We need to also carry along our culture there, which is language being the basic of all of communication, which is a vital tool of communicating. We have to take it there, and that is why we need to safeguard our local languages online.
Sure. I mean, a follow up to that, why is it that oftentimes people are just quick to rather use English? Because me, I'm even guilty of that. When I started my YouTube channel, I felt I would use English for that. And my mom used to ask me, why wouldn't you, have it in the local language? And even sometimes Google Maps. She's like, it would be so good if we have Google Maps speaking to us when we are navigating. But I want us to talk about creators. Why is it that they oftentimes when they have anything that they are posting online, they rather switch to English rather than using the local languages?
So just buttressing your point before even going deeper into what you asked, these smart infrastructures as we all using has to be speak languages that represent us, so we can have a better communication with what we interacting with. And if you mentioned everything we create, we're looking at the end goal. It's just like a developer. A developer is creating and investing time and money, resources, and when they are done, they are expecting that there should be return ROI, a return on investment. And if you are limiting it to just Ghana, how many Ghans are going to appreciate what you're putting out there? How many Evers, how many Krobos, how many Dangbes are going to actually pay you putting out? So it's because of the return on investment that makes us really focus more on English, which is universally accepted, and people can resonate with what you are putting out, especially when you're also looking at investors and partners. You don't need to stress them. As an investor, just like we talk about the elevator pitch, you have just few seconds to to put before the person whatever you want to communicate. If it is in Dagbani, if it is in Krobo, how are you going to do that when the person doesn't resonate with what you're about to communicate or doesn't speak the same language as you? So I think that is the major barrier. But when we start, basically when it has to do with social media, where you have the opportunity with maybe your language pact is already in the system integrated, or AI has been trained, the model has been trained and integrated in the system, where you know this language when I speak or when I write it very well, there will be a translation option that will be there for people to learn about it. And it's interesting, especially for essay Twitter, or they don't write fully English. They will write and put some Zulu in it and all. And when you go and translate it, it's interesting how they put it together. So if you're mindful of that, you make your language viable online, which will become alive to the community, and people will start learning more, because now I can speak a bit or understand a bit of this language because you keep posting on X or other platforms. So that I think the major challenge is because we don't have many people trying to be on the same page with us when we use our local languages, just because I tell people that we've lost ourselves pleasing other people. If we started earlier, we would have had many people speaking Ewe online, would have many people speaking Dagbani online, would have had many people speaking Krobo online and all. But it's not late.
Yeah, it's not late. That's true. Someone, I know you're in the media space and sometimes you put some content out there. Have you ever thought about using the local language?
No, I haven't.
This guy is a foreigner, man.
My reason being, I've seen it work for others. I think my sister is creating a lot of content around gospel stuff, and it really worked for her when she decided to use the Fanti language, because people were like interested in understanding the language, and people watched it more when she actually spoke the Fanti. But I was advising earlier when I was telling her that you can reach more audience if you actually get to speak. Yeah. But there are certain things that really work. As I was about to say, the first question you didn't allow me to answer. I passed it on.
Preservation of.
Yeah.
You can.
I passed it on for him to start because he's more like grounded in that.
Fine.
But I personally believe that the soul of the land can only be expressed in a certain language.
Okay.
So, for instance, you realize sometimes when you're arguing or you're talking about something very deep and you want to say it, it's like you can't even find the right words to use in English, and you want to go back to your local language because the best of it is expressed in that language. There's a reason why we speak Tree in Ghana. The reason why that language was birthed in a particular land. There's a reason why the Ga people speak this particular language in this particular place. So the languages are tied to the earth itself. They have meaning. The same way there's some fruits that you cannot find and name them with a foreign language. The same way there are some things here when they're expressing it's best spoken in the local language. So I believe it's true. It must be refined. It must be kept. I was saying this evening when I was coming that there's some certain secrets and wisdom that could only be expressed in the local language. If only we had written books and kept them in that way, it would have helped us preserve it.
That's so true. If we had gotten some documentation, and I think that's why we're even having this conversation and using the digital space to document some of the things that we have and then we hold dear to us as a nation. So talking about the fact that our local languages are there, and especially in the digital spaces, the fact that people will want to put content out there, but then they are speaking English at the end of the day. What are some of the risks that we face right now if we don't really try as much as possible to present our local languages? I'll start first with you, Albert.
The risks in general or online?
I mean, in general.
Okay, so in general, when we want to talk about the preservation of language, when we talk about the digital aspect, it's secondary. The primary one is you being able to pass it on. Language is our heritage. It's passed on. We took it. And that is how come it's passed on by the one that gives you care. And if it's not done, you find it difficult or not unappealing to you when you grow up. Yeah. So the very first way to safeguard this language is to make sure that we're speaking the language. And these times where it's very sad and terrifying how parents want them the kids to go to school and coming back to speak some slangs and all. So when you ask, want to say, and then they'll be, me bano they on country, then they are so happy to even say that with some sort of smile, which is really irritating, And that is really
that's a beef.
I have a beef with many of them. You get it, right? So we really need to start safeguarding our language from that very point, because it's elemental. And I tell people that irrespective of how you you are exposed in the academic field, you think first in your local language, the language with which you've been brought up. So when it is 1+1, you are thinking in your local language. It's because you're not paying attention to it. And I like the fact the way he put it, that the language are connected to us just as we came. We are birthed with it. We have that connectivity. So when we are nurtured in that area, we think deeply and we reason deeply in that state where English cannot encapsulate. So if we are losing out on that, we are big time losers. And that is why we have to start with the primary phase of safeguarding this language. Then when we come to the secondary, which is on digital platforms spaces, and online, that is where we have to look at the APIs and all those stuff, the AI modules we are training and all to help do that. It's just like when you go on YouTube and the auto captioning comes up. If it's Ghana, you won't find it. The only thing it will tell you is when they are playing the music, it will tell you music and all those stuff. If you go deeper into Ghana, it would translate it in maybe like Spanish or something, because the tonation match certain languages. So it means we would have to start training our AI models and then integrating them into systems. And this will have to be a public-private partnership where government will be the best people to give us that sort of or their offices will be what will leverage to be able to conquer the global space. Because when you go out there and you're going to talk to Microsoft, irrespective of how much interest they might have in it, they will tell you to come back to get the backing of your government, because it's a big project you're talking about. Language is a representation of a group of people or a country. So if you come in with this language representing Ghana, then you have to have the backing of your
the rights regulators and all
exactly. So that is the secondary level, but it is essential, it is crucial that when we start having this integrated language pact in our systems, then we can go a long way to beyond just we carrying it, because humans, until there's a total wipe away of the people, people would always manage the systems. So we have to make sure that the primary one is there, then the primary will enforce the secondary.
That's so true. Some of the way you're nodding.
So I was thinking of using two scenarios to explain this. Imagine you've seen that game where you be like, okay, someone's at the back saying, give me the tom-tom, and you have to pass that same information from back to the front.
By the time it gets to the front,
it's gone. Imagine switching between languages for that to happen. By the time you get to the front, someone will say tom-tom. No, Ntontom has done something. Instead of pass me the Tontom, it has become a whole different thing, because like conversion. Same thing with the Bible and all these big books that are translated. You see, the language is lost over time. So the best expression of whatever needs to be said is said in its local language. Imagine the history of Ghana being written in its local language. You realize that there are some deep things that we've missed, even in understanding where we came from.
That's true.
Yeah, so it is very important for us to preserve the language, find a way to keep it as it is, or else we will end up losing a lot of things, who we are naturally. I think it even goes beyond the simple writing, the language, the way we put our things, because I think the Ghana had its own ways of writing and sending communications away from just the foreigners trying to teach us to write infante or with the air and all those things. I think it was way beyond that, because if you look at the history of writing itself, from where it started with the Romans, using symbols and all that, that could be part of our language. So there are so many things I'm sure we've missed because we couldn't. Peculiar to us. That because you know this thing I just did when he was talking, I was saying but we all understood it somehow, but
it doesn't sound
it is not you can't write in any way that will make sense, but it is expressed. You understand? So the language must be kept.
And that's to say, buttressing that point also, is the languages were written. So I find it very difficult when they say Africans were not writing back then. Then how did we develop the Dinkra symbols, the Gansa mine, the Ewe Jesse and all those stuff? We were designers, we have craftsmen, we have people we had our language, we had our codes. That is a sound code.
We had a way of communicating
before you came in. So you can't say you are so it's the whole thing is that it is who tells the story first that glory is given to. So and we feel that, but then it's not late to rewrite and enhance history. So it's about time that we revisit, we get empowered, inspired by what our forebears did in the past. It's just like today, I see people posting like the touch houses online, and they think that is what will save us now in this hot system. Our forebears did it long ago, and it was disapproved. And today we want the iron sheets and all those stuff. You get it? So we have to revisit quickly before the white man now revisits and tells us that he modernized it.
Same with the Pep student. Charcoal. I mean, when they came, like,
So today is an added.
charcoal version.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Imagine the number of things hidden in our
So we
language.
have to really take it real fast.
a
We
lot.
have to understand that we don't need to demonize everything that came from our forebears in the past. They did exceptionally well. And before, I always tell people that before someone puts his life at stake to navigate the seas, back then when technology was not even like this, to come visit you, it means the news of you traveled or you were traveling and you got somewhere and you spoke of yourself and what is at home. That would necessitate someone putting his or her life at stake and now coming in to be called so and so navigator. So it means you were powerful way back.
That's
and you are
true.
still powerful. You've not lost it. You've just lost the sense of reasoning about who you are. If you can bring it back, you will know who you are and you will live it.
Yeah, and all that is also as a result of the more or less socialization that happened because of the presence of another person. This is Geek Squad with your girl Adobea Biritwum. We are talking about how we can use technology to preserve and promote the Ghanaian languages in this digital age. And for you listening in, how many local languages can you speak and write? I would like you to share that with us on the WhatsApp number 055 1111997. 055 11 11 997. Let us hear from you. How many of the local languages are you able to speak and write? And how did you learn them to share that with us? Because
Yes,
we're talking
I
about
want to ask him.
Joseph, you want to ask him how, not a bad idea. Albert, you can answer.
Okay,
the
so
6 languages.
for me, I think how I got to know about the Hausa is because our house is not far. That's where I grew up. It's not far from the people we play with, which is the Hausas. We're nearer to a Zongo. And you know, when it comes to football and Kobol or lifestyle, it's Zongo boys who really play football on a regular. So we used to go there and then Gudabiu, Uku, those Bier and all. So I got to know that because they were speaking, at least if I don't extensively speak it, I could understand when you are speaking. But then when it comes to Krobo and Dangbe was from home because I'm Gadangbe. Krobo was from school because I schooled in another town which was a Krobo in a Krobo land, and there we were taught how to read and write it. And I took it very serious because that was something that mattered to me way back. I didn't know it would be very serious now.
Wait, so is it too late for me?
It's not late for you. It's just that maybe this language is learned when it's easier when you coexist with the people and we are growing up with it. Then my grandmom, the Dangbe Bible, she helped us read it, and that is how come. So I got to know, between spoken language and written language, there's a vast difference.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of
So
course.
if in as much as we're telling people and we encourage that we safeguard the language online, we need professionals and researchers to help us do that, because when we leave it to the general public, it will mix up where we'll be implementing written language online. Yeah.
Okay.
That's so true. We have a message read that said, I speak Chirpon and Ikuapim Tree, spoken by the Ikuapim people where I come from. Truth is, some people till date consider you a villager and unintelligent when you speak any local language. Why were we beaten when we spoke the locals in school? But that's really a very good question.
Yeah.
I remember they would say if you speak Chi, you get a knock or you be beaten.
Yeah.
Young folks of today find it a flex to say they can't speak nor understand their local language. Some parents fail to speak and teach their words from home. And the crazy part is they now pay for classes for their words to be taught, a lesson they were in the position to teach for free from starters. I know how people lost their local language because I nearly experienced it until I started speaking Chi to everyone at everywhere. It's still awkward to some folks, but I don't care. You won't make me feel bad for being Ghanaian with your brainwashed mindset. Thank you so much for sharing that. This is from Giorgio Manfi Ekuapim. All right. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. So talking about this. Okay, this is a different message. All right. So good evening. I'm Giorgio from Manfi Ekuapim. I speak Ekuapim Chi because that is where I grew up. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing.
Is that your friend me Frank?
Yeah. This time this intro. I think it's one of the things that I want us to even talk about. The options for us to type in our local languages. You know, are there tools that people use? Because sometimes it's a challenge, especially when a local language. Samuel.
Yeah, I've got keyboard
Yeah.
and some other keyboards that people are trying to develop. People had issues. The person I knew who used it had issues with it a bit, but it's quite interesting where someone can come up with an idea to help us to be able to communicate freely online. But the challenge I had with that whole thing was, who are you person to be able to respond to? You get it? So yeah, that's where the bridge must be. If we all can get to a point where we all accept it, then it becomes like a jewel for us that we can easily, like how you spoke about the South African people. Everybody's reading it when they are communicating it back. The Chinese have their own keyboard, they read it, they communicate back, then it becomes something that we all can jump on.
But it will start from somewhere anyway.
Yes.
So it's good that at least. Okay, we have another message, but before we get to that, talk about a bit about schools and how they can encourage. That was even sent earlier. Because me, I know very well, they'll make you kneel down. They'll make you, I mean, just because you are speaking the local language. Can we just talk a bit about that?
Yeah, so I think with respect to upbringing and nurturing in Africa, or especially in Ghana, we had people who didn't really understand how to help people learn two things. At least it's like saying that we can walk and still be chewing a gum and all. So here we thought maybe discouraging people to speak the local languages will better help them learn the English faster, because when it comes to BEC and it comes to WASI, it is this language,
that's the basic language
that has to be the basis.
Yeah.
But then it was ahead in the educational sector that these languages got introduced. And even after introduction, you only get to speak it freely when it's time for that class.
Exactly.
But then if we had teachers who were able to like interpret mathematics using local languages, physics using local languages, I think there would be many people who would have understood and fallen in love with the courses that were taught back
That's
then.
so true.
It doesn't take the person off the speaking of English, because we're in a certain way you have to speak the English, but then we have levels to which we all speak English. Some are adding some style to it, others are on the basic surface. If we are able to communicate these basic things and read and understand, I think we are on the basic level to communicate. It's other people who then go in deeper and you need to take dictionaries to understand them. It is their preference, it's their choice. But then if we had these languages spoken in school, it would have been the best for us. So I would encourage that students are not punished for speaking their local languages. They just have to be advised why they need to study this and do that. Because if you're able to sit a young person down and tell him or her that in your homes, in your communities, you spend how many hours this and you speak this local language, it means you are in a sector which is nurturing that particular aspect or that particular space on your tongue. If it has to do with the codes you are taking from home. So when you come to school, I will entreat you to also avail that time to learn the English which matters in many of the sectors or in the courses that we are studying. But that doesn't mean that I am discouraging you to continue communicating. So even when the child doesn't understand, it's just like we mentioned earlier, that there are certain phrases or sentences the child cannot make to tell you that at this very point, I don't understand this force equal to MA.
Exactly.
I don't get it. But maybe the child will better express him or herself because you took force from there, you went into power and all. You are going more into details. The child can now speak in Twi or Krobo or Dangbe and say, or in Ga and tell you that, boss, where you've gotten to at this very point, this is how I understand it from my processing as a Ga. Then you can assist that very person. So I think we need to just sit and communicate with the people. There will be, you see, I tell people that because there's a bad nut doesn't mean that we'll always make it a hasty generalization. So people would go against the rules to speak the local language full time, because I've met people who are not interested in even speaking English. They don't see the reason. And that is where you need to sit with people and dialogue with them to come to a consensus, and they will understand that we have a time for everything, and this is the time to speak English. This is the time to speak our local languages. But then there's a leveled playing ground where at break time you can still communicate with your friends.
Yeah, that's good. We have a message from Francis Accra. He said, "Hi, Adobea. In fact, your discussion is very good. Private schools are not helping as they stop learners from speaking local language and they beat them for speaking it. It's not good that they are beating people for that. So parents should rise up to this and take these schools as government schools are not doing it. Okay, like trying to say government schools are allowing them to speak local language. I think at the end of the day, what we are saying is we want to preserve our local language. So as much as possible, we should rather be encouraging people and not necessarily doing beating people for that.
I have a challenge for those who are texting us.
Yeah.
Someone should tell us the word force in their local language.
The word
Force.
Like
FORCE in physics in their local language. If you're out there, you can say it in tree. What is force in tree?
We have a message. This is from Fred OEB Estate. It says, hello, if you want to type local language, there's an app called Kasahuro. You can download it and it will help you type on your phone. On the laptop too, you can download Keyman. It will allow you to type local language on your keyboard. Thank you for sharing that with us, Fred. I think it's one of the things that I wanted us to even talk about. For someone listening in, if they want to start, typing messages and then using the local language, what they can
I've just
use.
been prompted by someone that they have an app that teaches mathematics in tree.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to get the name so that we can just...
So
Okay.
Kasahoro is one of the leading apps when it comes to the local languages. Then we also have Kaya. Kaya is Dr. Paul Anzuri and his team. They also have
we've
that.
even had him on before.
Then we have the Swift keys. When you download that as well.
they have the local languages in them.
Yeah, they have a couple of them.
Oh,
They have
okay.
a couple of local languages in them and all. Then I think even the default, like the Apple, the default has
the languages.
Yeah.
Okay.
And basically many of our languages have this or air similarity. So
Yeah.
when you have the basics on them available in one of the keypads, you can just use them. But
So they're all in the
they are all
Play
in the
Store
system,
and all
Play
that.
Store and all. You can
Oh,
go
okay.
there and just search
So I think the math app is called Aya Prep.
Okay.
Aya Prep.
AYAPREP. I think you should go over the apps again.
Okay, so we have the Kasahoro.
How do you spell that?
It's K-A...
Kasahuro. So
Oh,
you
the
see
whole part, I'm
tree.
lost. I don't know if it's W or H.
So it's the because of the limitation of you know how funny it is. They also wrote it HOROW.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
So it's
horo,
horo.
yeah, exactly.
So
There should
they
be
should have
an or
used-
somewhere.
But
yeah.
then because of search engines and optimizations and all, so
Yeah.
they had to use the local the English as a search, like a top search filter. And that is so the Kasahoro or the Swift keys. You have the the Kaya KHAY.
Yeah.
When you download that one as well. And even when you go to Kaya, the app, I think you can get more APIs there.
Yes,
on
yes,
different
yes.
text to speech and all
Yeah.
those and vice versa. You can get it there to
They are
integrate it
building
into your system.
Yeah,
So
AI models
yeah.
even. Yeah.
they have
Okay.
it there.
Sure. We have another message. Okay. It says Genesis 10:1. It said Noah's son, Shem, Ham, forefather of Africans, and Japheth. The sons of Ham were Cush, Mizraim, Egypt, Put, and Canaan. The alphabet was created in Egypt by black Africans. I speak and write Dangbe. Okay, that's the languages that he speaks. Dangbe, Ga, and Chi. This is from New Bianbis, USA. And then he's saying the force. You were asking about force in the local language.
In Dangbe and Ga.
Hewami strength.
Hewami
Hewami
strength.
force.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not
we
necessarily
banged
force.
him. Come back
Okay,
again.
it could mean it could.
Okay, we have another. Okay, so this
Nana
one is
Kwesi.
also so Nana Kwesi is saying force is what? Share or share.
Oh shit.
So that's the or. Hey, sorry, I didn't see the or sign.
You see why we need a keyboard? It's like
We really need
greater
a
than
keyboard.
shit.
We have another. Okay, so
Okay,
the
so-
force that we spoke about. This is what. Please, those who
Ewe.
can speak.
Ewe.
Ewe. Sorry. Nuse.
Also onse.
No, I think I should have asked my producer Chris how many languages he can speak because at this point
There's no local language.
they said there's
keyboard
no
on WhatsApp
local
too.
language keyword.
Okay,
on
there's a local
WhatsApp.
language.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You need to go to your settings. When you go to your settings, you can select and add some keyboard. So like the
Okay.
Swift keyboard, when you go download it, go to your app settings. That's the general settings on your phone.
Okay.
Then you go to you will see keypad or keyboard, depending on the kind of phone you are using. I can't say.
That's why the end is looking like it's falling down. I
Exactly.
see. Okay.
So
Yeah.
you can do that now and give us a feedback on that. Then you can add the keyboard you want to add. So sometimes you can search because they have a list of languages. So you can search. the accounts have really done well when it comes to developers. I think because they realized that accounts really value their language. So many developers
are now adding that.
I think also the numbers is what
the numbers too.
There's a higher number.
It's true. That's true. Exactly. We have another message. Adobea, blessed evening. Okay, the languages that she speaks: Chi, Fanti, Ga, Pasabo, Dagbani. Which one is the Pasabo?
That's
the ones that at least you understand.
Okay.
Pasabo and glimpses of Wale. Oh, okay,
glimpses,
that's good.
Oh, okay.
I like the adjectives being used here. When I said but
interesting.
It says on a more interesting note, the colonized who bastardized the colonizers' language are far advanced. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. Malaysia, Thailand, Japan, China, India, Arabian, etc. There's an interesting understanding you get communicating in a local language. So I was asking the force, hey, please, somebody is to you force. Is it verb or now? Then she'll give you the...
Hey, no, not like force someone who force. That's in physics, force.
Okay, we have another message from Francis. Francis Accra says, hi team. With the coming of local language speaking radio and TV stations across the nation in all languages, I think children should be taught in speaking the local language. Actually, should be taught to speak the local languages. That's true. We have another message also from Kwame Chair UK. He says, good evening, Adobea. Very interesting topic. I have 3 kids with me here in UK. When all of them were given birth, the midwife told us to speak to them in our local language and leave the rest to the school. And trust me, when they speak to you on phone in English, you will think they are white people, but trust me, when they also speak Chi, they speak it very well. I think that's the thing, and it was one of the things my mom also did. You speak Chi at home, you go to school, you speak your English there. Yeah, okay. This Nana K is saying that force is Oshe. Okay.
So it's Oshe is equal to mass times acceleration.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, when we go to school, like describing even atoms to people to understand that they were the smallest. People were trying to phantom what it was. You get it? So imagine that local language was used to
you know, we would have understood it better. We have another message. Say hello, Adobea. First in Dangbe is this one you have to read it for me.
Pasanini.
There's no Pasanini. It's Panisiwami. Yeah,
Panisiwami is saying is with respect to your veins. No, what do you call it? Pani, the
so it's like some
muscle,
muscle.
The strength of the muscle.
Okay.
So that's the force.
And
that could also because it has to do with like the
this is Emmanuel from Ashaiman, and then he says he speaks Gan, Dangbe, and Chi. That's cool. I'm glad people speak more than one local language. It seems some more. You are the only one, and I, you know. This is Geek Squad with your girl Adobea Biritwum. We'll take a quick break. We will be back after that.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Democracy is by choice, not cash, not coercion, not corruption. Vote buying silences the will of the people. Unchecked illicit political financing weakens the very sovereignty of a state. Democracy falters when everyone's choice is compromised. An unprecedented multimedia politician-citizen forum brought to you by Joy News Impact Makers Foundation. This community-level engagement will spotlight illicit political financing, explore its implications, and proffer solutions to safeguarding Ghana's democracy. Democracy is not for sale. Coming soon to your region on Joy News, Adom TV, Joy FM, Adom FM, and across our social media platforms.
You won't believe where my students and I are coming from.
I can see the excitement on your face. Tell me where.
Safari Eco Park. They are making it so accessible for schools, offering an unforgettable experience where students learn in nature, connect with wildlife, and truly engage with their surroundings.
Wow, that sounds amazing. But I'm a bit concerned about the cost.
I thought the same at first, but it's actually very affordable. Through a collaboration between Multimedia Group and Safari World, it is just 100 Ghana cedis for primary schools and secondary schools. And the 150 Ghana cedis for tertiary schools. This is from February all the way to the end of April.
Oh, that's reassuring. And it's not too far either.
Exactly. It's only an hour drive from Accra, so the trip is convenient and stress-free for both teachers and students.
I love that the children get to learn through experience, not just textbooks. And the teachers can go along and come back relaxed as well. I'm definitely going to recommend this to our school. It sounds like the perfect blend of fun and education.
It really is. It's the kind of experience students never forget.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Welcome back. This is Geek Squad with your girl Adobea Biritwum, and we are having a conversation on how we can use technology to preserve and promote our Ghanaian languages. Just before the break, we had a question, so I'll read that and we can get into it. So I got a question for you all. English words keep adding up. What can we do for our local languages to add up to so we don't have to replace some words with English when speaking it? Albert.
Okay, so
it's a very good question. Thank you for sending that
That's
through.
a very good question. English words keep adding up, and what can we do to our local languages to add up? So basically, for the English languages, English is evolving with time, and there has to be context to what you are even using synonyms for. So they can be similar in meaning, but then the context with which you are using it matters. Then the pronunciation also that comes with it. So for local languages as well, I think we'd have to start developing APIs and all that would help us safeguard this online, where pronunciation, just like you go on YouTube and you can search for pronunciation like a YouTube platform where they can show you how words are pronounced. We need to do that for our local languages as well, and we have the integrated models into the Google search and all, where you can, like the Panisihiwam, the guy said, when you write it on Google, it will not only tell you that this is the meaning, but it will give you just like the speaker box or symbol comes, that you press it and it will pronounce it for you. So I think going forward, that is what we would have to push for. I know it's very difficult with the developers, but then this is where government comes in to support big time, especially now that they are pushing for the AI thing. But it shouldn't be just talk shops, something that will materialize, and that's the way forward.
I was about to go there.
Yeah.
The languages, some people actually studied the local languages in school, like masters and degrees and stuff, and they come out of school and they are laughing at them. The truth is, they understand the language to its core. The pronunciation, I don't know how they call it.
There's another one called localization. That is me old time free. It's maybe might not be the same when the meaning you want to pass on.
Yeah.
Me call school, me free school.
Yeah.
There's a localization when it comes to translation of the local from the English to the local language, which has to be done. The context it has to be done.
If the rules are set, that means that we can easily add more languages or more words to whatever we have already. But if the rules are not clear, then adding something to it will be a bit difficult. So we need those who actually went to the school to study it, for the government to employ them, or they themselves to come up with structures to help us to push some of these things. Write books in tree, force us to read these things.
Yeah, and for me, I want us to talk about, let us link it back to the digital spaces. For someone listening in, and we're encouraging them, like the YouTube example you gave, for instance, where you can just type how to pronounce this word and you can go and get it. Can we also do same with the local languages? And then how does, having fast internet help someone like that who wants to be putting content out there somewhere?
Before we came back from the break, we were talking about the foreigners trying to use some apps to learn the three languages. There are a lot of these apps being developed as we speak right now, and some are already on the Play Store and all that. It's just that I've forgotten the name. I think we'll try to remember before the end of the show. These apps are going to be able to help us to do such things and easily be able to learn these languages without losing them, because as the app will be stored on these clouds with the rules attached to them. Because what's the name of that thing that they add? The symbols that they add to pronunciation of a word. So last time we were arguing about the pronunciation of yacht, and then we realized that there's Y-A-T, and then the Y and the accent degree or whatever thing that they add to it. If those rules are being set for the tree, you get it. The phonetics, good. That will help us to be able to get these things in the particular place, and we can easily convert it, because we have a lot of developers here, but because they don't know the rules, it's hard for them to convert it. You can easily do that.
Yeah, and I mean, having fast internet will help too, because when it comes to the pronunciation, for instance, you don't want to be there trying to get the word and
Duolingo,
then,
like you get it.
you know,
you need fast internet
it's buffering and all that.
The only reason my children should sit and be able to learn online is having reliable internet connection. One,
Yeah.
fast, because the one who really learn on the go, and to find it appealing where the thing is not lagging, the thing is not buffering, then it means I'm enjoying it, and it's just like streaming a movie. If it's buffering, and no matter how high the ratings are, you get pissed off and you go off. It's the same way if someone is using it to learn. So having an excellent internet speed and reliability counts in whatever we are talking about today. It
So I
really
think
matters.
we
It's
can
so
say
important.
it's
The
MTN that's
fiber.
gonna get us to that point. There's a lot of how do you call it? Even YouTube music that are in tree now for children to learn. And imagine your child trying to dance to something like "Oh me ba," and then he will just read me. Then they're like, "What's happening there, me?" I mean, that would not help you. So
Fiber infrastructure will
I
help
would
with that.
recommend you. Jeff.
when you're using the fiber to, when it comes to the uploading speed and all, you can up to like 10 gig plus
It's true.
in some
So
few
the tree
minutes.
content creators jump on MTN fiber.
No, seriously, the tree content creation, and people are really doing well, especially with the tech things. I have one guy like that I saw his handle. He's putting a lot of content like on AI, how to use it and all that. So as we're talking about it, especially with the languages, it's so important, because some of the things, look at when we asked for force and someone sent it through. So for such a person, if you have a channel, you can just be uploading how to pronounce.
Yeah, let me give a tip out there. I think what we need now is a good qualified doctor to be speaking in tree for us to get content, because I see a lot of Aproko doctor copies in Ghana, but they are speaking in
What?
I know Aproko doctor.
I know Aproko doctor.
The copy version of it in Ghana.
In Ghana.
Yes, but they are all trying to speak English. And the TikTok area, especially for Ghana, is made up of a lot of market women and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Imagine being able to
yeah.
educate them well in the tree than some native doctor taking a camera. You get it?
Hey.
So we need to push more of these local we need to push more of these local things in the professional manner. Yeah.
This is Geek Squad with your girl Adobea Biritwum. We will take the quick tech fixes. We'll be back after that.
Hello there. I am Michelle Ejekum, and as usual, I bring you some tech quick fixes and tips right here on Joy Geek Squad. Today, let's talk about how to manage notifications better. Constant notifications can be distracting, but you can take control. 1. Turn off non-essential alerts. 2. Allow only priority apps. 3. Use notification summaries. Less noise means better focus.
Message from Solomon Latibioka. She says, it is noteworthy that the Bible has been translated into the major languages spoken in Ghana. We should consider engaging with the Bible Society of Ghana to assist us in translating most of our educational materials used in various schools into the country's primary languages. This objective is achievable. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Solomon from Latibiokoshi. I think that is
very dangerous, because even the original tree readers in the church are struggling nowadays. I don't know if you've noticed.
It's not easy.
It's serious.
That's why
they
I
repeat one word over and over before you realize they are.
Written language is different from spoken language.
Very different.
Very
we have
different.
people who can speak tree fluently, but when it comes to reading, they are really strong. I mean, most people actually, that's what it is. So as much as possible, not only writing, but we also need to learn how to read it. Yeah, that's why we are talking about at least people using the digital channels available. If it's TikTok, if it is Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, at least the words pronunciation or telling stories in our local languages, it will help people to get to know them more.
Quick one. Do you dream in tree or English?
I have a response to you, but it's not on air that I'll give that answer. So yeah, I think we will continue with this. I mean, I've enjoyed the conversation so much, but the key thing right now, what does the future hold if Ghanaian languages fully integrate into the digital world? I'll start first with you, Albert.
The future has always been exciting because we'll have a space where we can all coexist. We can all enjoy our local languages, just like the aforementioned example, which is the Zulus or South Africans online. It's interesting when you get into that side of Twitter or X, how they communicate, and it's so funny. You know, when you're reading it, it's just like a fancy speaking English. You see how interesting it is. So that's how we all have to come on board to make sure that we're enjoying ourselves. But then I always say that we should have, just like we have established and we've echoed or re-echoed over the time, that spoken native language is different from written one.
Yes.
So the professionals, the researchers should be empowered now, should be supported now to be the first to put it out before we flood the system with what is not the right one or the right way to communicate. Because for us, it's boys, girls, chat, online banter and all, we'll put it in. But then when the right structures are there,
in a different way.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sometimes I even see people who have typed chi and I'm like, this is wrong, because I know how to read. So I'm like, this is wrong. This is not the right way.
So when
to
the
type
language
it out.
pack is developed by researchers and is integrated in the system, then your keyboard can give you that. This is the autocorrect version of
Exactly.
local
Oh wow,
languages.
autocorrect in
Yeah.
tree. Okay.
Yes,
You get
yes,
it.
yes, yes. Some of final words.
So I would say we really need to bring it back. Secrets can be shared only when we are speaking in our language. The foreigners will not get what we are saying. I mean, our secrets can be kept. Whatever needs to be shared with us in terms of history. As I said, there's some certain things that can only be expressed in that manner. There's some feelings that come best in that language, and I think it would be best if we can have our language by ourselves.
Thank you so much for joining me,
Democracy in
gentlemen, Albert, Tetteh, and Samuel Boateng. And a very big thank you to you, our listeners, for joining in and for sending in your contributions. We really appreciate it. This has been your girl, Adobea Biritwum. A very big thank you to the technical team, Anita, Oliver, and to my producer, Prince Safo. Thank you so much. God willing, next week we will be back. Up next is news by Michael Ashani. Stay tuned.
In motion, like how a single word can make a heart